Hello. Today we're going to be covering session 6 in our series about the cadence theme and cadence blocks. And today we're going to be covering headers and footers. We're going to stick primarily to the free cadence blocks, although I would like to show you some of the things which are available when you use the Pro blocks, because there's just a lot more flexibility and a lot more things that you're able to do. Now, let's have a quick look at headers, because there is quite a variety of headers. The one where I will start here with my own website. Now, this black block is the administration block. Don't worry about that. And normally you see the site from this point down. Now, this is a very standard setup for a header, or most of it is. Here's a logo to the left, and that is at the left of what's called the content area. You'll see it lines up with this. That's the content area. There's the logo. Here is a straight one line of menu with an extra search. So that's quite a standard arrangement for headers. Here's another one, which at face value is quite standard arrangement. Large logo to the left, very large logo in this case to the left, a single line of menu, a search bar, and a call to action, all in one line. Here's a very slight variation in that the logo has now been moved into the center, and there are two lines in this header. One line just for this logo, and the second line for a very standard menu. You see it was a drop-down menu, and there's some sub-menu items there. Now, you can vary this using the cadence theme. Here's one variation where the logo has been put in the center, and there's one menu to the left and a second menu to the right, and then a cart, because this is a WooCommerce site. So there's a cart over here. So in this one line, there are four, if you like, elements: menu 1, logo, menu 2, and the cart. But otherwise, are reasonably straightforward. Here's another one. We need to be able to, this is already in, we'll go and see it from the full size first. Here it is. So this one, slightly different. You'll notice that once again, it's menu 1, logo, menu 2, but up in the top right, there's some social elements up there. So that's another line. So that's a top line. But the most striking thing about this is that it's transparent. So you can see straight through. This image is this whole image is now being seen underneath the header. So that's called a transparent header. But still, as you scroll, notice that the header goes with the scroll, as does this one. The header goes with the scroll. And this one, the header goes with the scroll. And of course, this one, the header goes with the scroll. Now, what we're going to do is have a look at some of the variations. Let's look in the back end of this one, because it's slightly more different than the others. So we're going to customize and header. And you'll see that in the transparent header option, it has been turned on. Enable the transparent header. If we were to turn that off, you see that the image is now moved down, and the background of the header now has a solid color. When you make a transparent header, There is no background colour in this header section, and the main content of the site moves up with a negative margin, moves up underneath what the space allocated to the header. We want to continue with our transparent header, so we'll turn that on. So there we go. You're able to disable it on various things and on various sorts of pages, like on posts or on events. And it's enabled right across the site. So it even works on the mobile. You can have a different logo for the transparent header if you want, but we're just going to leave it this way. Now, looking, let's pull this header apart. You'll notice that there's one row, the main row. That's the top row. There's the main row. And when we come down here, we see that for the desktop, we're seeing 3 rows. These are the 3 rows that the free version of Kadence gives you to work in headers. That's the first row. This is the main row. And we're not using the bottom row. Here it is down here, empty, no elements in it. In the top row, we've selected social elements. If you click it, we're now editing, and we've chosen Facebook, Twitter and Instagram. There they are, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. And as we open each of these, you can decide which logos you want, what the label is, and you're able to then give details of the links. So here are the social links. You click this, it takes you to a place where you can fill them all in. It's just a part of the customizer. Now we need to go back to the header. So that's the top row. This row here, you can see there's a secondary navigation, a logo, and a primary navigation. The name primary and secondary is kind of irrelevant. It just means that we thought at one stage that logo might be, menu might be better over this side, but not the case, so we've moved it back. Each of these you're able to select. Once we come here to we can select what menu is going to occupy that place. And on this site, there's a main 1 and a main 2, and there is a mobile menu also. We don't have a different menu in the mobile, in the footer, but we could. We actually use these 2 menus in the footer, as we'll see in just a few minutes. So that's really how that header is put together. 2 rows, social on the upper right-hand side, and you'll notice that this is the way it's laid out. Now, you're then able to switch to the tablet mobile view, and there's a slightly different arrangement. We've got the logo in one, and we've got the trigger here. Now, the trigger is this, and we, over on this side, is what gets triggered. And it is, in fact, the mobile navigation. So if we click this, this is the mobile menu that comes in. It slides across, and that's it's back to the logo. So there you can have different ways to trigger it. We've just chosen to have the little hamburger, and you can set the colours, etc., of the trigger here. We go to trigger. It can be different styles. There's the dots. There's the narrow ones. We've actually chosen this one. And then the drawer container, the container that holds the menu coming out, is here. So it's coming from a side panel. It's coming from the right, and you can then design it with all the colours and icon sizes. So it's actually quite extensive what you're able to do in headers in the free version. Now, we're not going to publish that, but we're going to go right out, and we don't want to save anything. When we come here, we see that if we had the Pro add-on, which we don't on this site, and we turn this on, you will actually get to see more elements. Now, let me go to another site to show you what that would look like. On this site, we can come to Dashboard and go to Kadence. We come here, and the Pro header, the Pro add-ons have been added. So it adds an extra 19 elements to the header builder. So when you come to the header, and we come here, there's a much larger selection of widgets that are able to be used in here. In the one that we looked at previously, this was much smaller. So here we've got extra dividers and extra navigation, contact blocks, etc., are all available in the Pro version. Now, just before we move off and start looking at the header, at the footer, let me show you one other thing about two of these sites. We'll go to this one. Now, this is a Pro feature, a strictly Pro feature. And I really love this because the other style of menu is what's called a mega menu. And each of these is very standard. They're just drop downs and the contact just goes to a contact page. But this one here, when you go to there, it's a mega menu and opens up an element that you can design whatever you want in this element. Now, I've been very simple in mine and just simply made these links. But you can see this whole section. There are lots. If I was to try and do that with drop-down menus, it would be very, very confusing and you wouldn't be able to see the whole site at once. Here's another version of this. On this particular site, the navigation menu covers the whole site. It's the whole menu. There's home and the navigation menu. Now, this covers everything on the whole site. There's one block, all about. Here's everything to do with membership, and each of those is an individual page. Here are all the articles. These are all, if you go to any one of those, they are archives of posts. So that opens up to many more pages. And this is just a page, and an icon, which, so within mega menus, you're really able to be quite creative. Now, just to continue on the Pro theme for just a minute before we go down and have a look at footers, I just want to show you one more thing. This is what's called an element. Within the Kadence Pro blocks, one of the things that you're able to do is add what's called hooked elements. And you're able to design an element, and that can be anything you want, a large image, it can be like those menus, and then you can hook that into places within the theme. So let's just have a look. If we go to the Credit Insights, this page here, or this header here, is actually an element, and it's been hooked in to sit right at the very top in the place of the hero image on this particular page. And the element is made up of a background image in 3 different sizes for desktop, for tablet, and for mobile. And this is the title of the page. It's dynamically loaded. So you go to any other page and it dynamically reads the page or the post title and fills it in here. And this element here, this little coloured line, 5-segment coloured line, is also a part of the element. So if we go to any other page anywhere on the site, like member services, we go there, we'll find this same element, here it is here, this same element, different background, different page, same little 5-segment line, but this is but this is dynamically loaded from the title of the page. So that's the use of elements that you're able to make inside the Pro version. It's really, really good if you are committed to building lots of websites. You really do want the Pro version. Now, let's move on from the header and let's have a look at the footers. Let's simply go back and look at the ones we've already looked at. If we come to this footer, it's quite simple. You can see there are two rows. The first row has this logo. The second row, which is made up of two blocks, each 50% of the width, with quite large blocks of text, simply because it needed to have an acknowledgement of country on this site, and there was quite a long copyright statement, so that was the best place to put them. This, if we go to the visit the site, this site has a 4-sector row. This is the first row. Here's the second row. It just simply got a copyright statement. But the 4 columns in here, one is an image, one is a menu, another one is a menu, but vertically, not horizontally. This one is made up of 2 blocks. That's a heading block and that's a form block. We'll come back and have a look at this one in detail. This footer is actually quite simple. It has 3 rows. The first one is a subscribe with a form. Then there's the privacy policy and copyright statement on the next row, and then a couple of social statements on the bottom. This one is actually reasonably complex, and I needed to build this as an element because there was this image, and then this is 3 columns, but this one actually needed to be, because there's so much content in it, actually needed to be built with an HTML table. So this was needing to be built as an element, which then replaced the footer on every page through the whole site. So I couldn't have actually built this footer in the free version. This one is an extremely simple footer. Once again, we're just back to the copyright statement. So let's have a look at, this is probably the easiest one to have a look at. There are 2 rows, 4 columns, and a bit of a variety. So let's have a look in here. We'll go to Customize. And remember, this site does not have the Pro blocks. This is only free blocks used on this site. So we're going to go to Customize, Footer, and here it is. And we're seeing here that there's 1, 2, 3, 4 widgets and a copyright statement, and that line is not being used. So this is quite a simple one. When we switch to tablet and switch to mobile, we see how it on the mobile, these 4 drop into one vertical column rather than one horizontal row. So there's image, menu, menu, and then this block here in widget 4. Now, a widget, strange word, but it just simply means a block in which you can, well, it's really a term used in WordPress for blocks of content which can be used either in the footer or in a sidebar. And here they are. These are the various widgets now. So the easiest way to describe this is in this row, the bottom row, we've just simply got a copyright statement. And if we look at it over here, these are just macros or shortcodes that have the copyright symbol, the year, and just a piece of text. And it's centrally aligned. Once we go into widget 1, widget 1 is just simply an image. If you click that, it's just simply an image. and it's left aligned. Widget 2 has got a block in it, and the block is actually a navigation menu block. And it's menu 2, which is being displayed. And you could actually, if you wanted to, put a title and it would appear up here. So if we were to put just the word title, you can see that it appears here. Now, we don't want that, so we can delete that. We just want it nice and simple. This block is the same as that one. This part here, which is widget 4, is 2 blocks. It's a title block. You can't really see it because it's white text, but it's been written in custom HTML. So it's H3, it's styled with a margin statement, 30 pixels, and the colour variation. There's the word, be first to hear about Taitunga's activities. There it is there. And the one below, this is a block which is just a very quick form. It's a very, very small form. So if you come in here, that's the Kadence form block. So that gives you an idea of how footers and headers work in the Kadence theme.